federal government is heading into the new year still without its long-promised defense policy review. That review, which will set long-term goals for the Canadian military, was first announced back in the spring of 2022, but has clearly faced delays. The update is much anticipated as the military deals with ongoing and severe personnel shortages as well as aging equipment. The wait for it also comes as the feds look to cut nearly $1 billion over several years from the defense budget as part of its spending reduction plan.
Colleagues and shipmates, the RCN faces some very serious challenges right now that could mean we fail to meet our force posture and readiness commitments in 2024 and beyond.
Recently, the commander of the Royal Canadian Navy released this unprecedented video highlighting the Navy is in a, quote, critical state because it's understaffed and resource stretched. And that commander, Vice-Admiral Angus Topshee, is with us now. Hi, Vice Admiral. Good to meet you and good to have you here in studio.
Thanks very much.
I wanted to start off and ask about the video that you put out because you know that it drew a lot of interest and a lot of reaction. And I'm wondering from your vantage point what the impetus for releasing it was.
So the goal was to communicate internally to the Navy. We're going through a tough period right now. We've got to make a number of changes internally, and it was really a call to action to my team to sort of say, look, we've got to focus on these things. We've shown in the past that we can get through these difficult periods, so we need to do so again, and there's some key measures we need to take to do that.
Was there any notice provided to the government or to the ministry that you would be putting that message out?
The government was well aware of the message. It's completely consistent with everything that I've been communicating throughout. I feel as though this minister, the previous minister, have both listened and respected to the views that we have, and it's a matter of, the Navy needs to be able to continue to deliver for Canada, and this is how we're going to get about doing it.
Do you feel that that the Navy's ability to do so is currently jeopardized?
It is challenged. We're short people. We're short about 20% people, and so we really need to focus on attracting, recruiting, and training the best Canada has to offer. We have some great opportunities within the Navy. I think it's a great life. It's taken me around the world to every continent except Antarctica. We have adventures every day, and we have to serve the country with a real purpose. So I think it's a great opportunity. Unfortunately, we're not getting in front of enough Canadians to get them to see the benefits and the opportunities that come with serving in the Navy.
Given the sort of severity of the issue and the degree to which you are short, do you anticipate that personnel problems could be fixed in time for delivery, for example, of the new ships that we are anticipating? Yeah,
so one of the things that's in the video is a talk about how we're going to reshape our entire focus on human resources, right? So how we divide up all of the jobs and tasks within the Navy into our various different occupations, how we do all of our training from initial entry training through to the 10 to 15 year mark in a career. How do we make sure that we can accelerate that as quickly as possible to get the sailors that we need at the levels of experience that we need, but to do that in a manner that's safe and ensures that they are fully qualified and ready for the jobs they need to take on.
Do I take from that you do think it's possible to have those ships properly manned, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, I do. It is. So it's not a small task, and it begins by making sure we bring in enough people. And so we need at least 1,200 people to join the Navy every year. And we've launched the Naval Experience Program, which is a one-year program. It's kind of like a paid internship, $42,000 to join the Navy, get a sense of everything the Navy has to offer, do the regular 8 weeks of basic training followed by 4 weeks of Navy-specific training, and then an exposure to everything on both coasts in Canada, all of the different jobs, and to see if that's the right fit for someone. And at the same time, we get to look at those people who have joined and see if they're the right fit for us. Are their values and ethics aligned with ours? So we've got 100 people recruited through that program so far. We haven't hit the 1 year mark where we'll really start to see how many of them are interested in continuing to serve, but we're hoping to keep about 80% of them.
So 100 people out of the 1,200 that you need every year. What else would you recommend to fill that gap?
So the Canadian Forces Recruiting Centre is still the bulk of our recruiting. Yeah. So they're still trying to deliver the 1,200 people that we need. The Naval Experience Program is just a pilot project to see if there's other ways of attracting people.
But so I guess what other way, I'm asking sort of against the backdrop of the stuff that's in place now isn't cutting it. So what more would you like to see done outside of that one program?
So I think we need to look internally, and we are looking internally to make sure our processes are as efficient as possible. So some of the things, our common enrollment medical standards, so the medical grade you need to reach to join the military is actually higher than what you need to continue to serve in the military. So that's one of the things that the Surgeon General and his team are looking at to make sure that it reflects where we're at right now. Has it reflected the current changes in medical practice? So there are some things that we assessed a while back were not consistent with service that actually we probably can manage. They're not the same sort of chronic conditions today that they were in the past. So someone who has those probably could continue to serve.
You mentioned also in this video that it isn't unique to the Navy that you're dealing with issues around personnel, right? That the armed forces as well as the Air Forces are facing similar issues. We've been waiting almost 2 years, I think it's 20 months now, for a defense policy review, which is in part, we've been told, going to articulate more specifics around a strategy to address that. Has your input been given to that? Like, what do you think we should and can anticipate out of that whenever it does come?
So I think the defense policy update will reset what the government's position is on defense and what exactly they want us to really focus on. The bigger things are, a lot of these issues we need to already be addressing ourselves. We have these levers within our control within the Canadian Armed Forces, and so we need to be making sure that we're using all of those, that we're changing the way we do business to attract and recruit Canadians faster.
The minister was asked about your video, Defense Minister Bill Blair, and he said that the exact quote is, "I wouldn't define the situation is dire at all." How do you respond to that?
So if you remember, the first part of the video is that we may fail to meet. Our intention is to continue to meet our commitments under what we call the force posture and readiness, the number of ships and platforms that the Canadian Navy is required to have ready and be able to deploy annually. Our goal is to meet those. The point of the video is to say, look, there's a couple of things. If they don't break right, we're going to struggle to do that. So we need to make sure that we're focused intently on those things and we continue to deliver.
Has there been a year in recent memory where you've been able to recruit 1,200 people to join the Navy?
No.
So why do you think it's possible going forward?
Because we're trying new things. So we are reforming our recruiting approach. The Naval Experience Program is showing us that we're attracting different people. And so one of the things we've seen, it used to be that people walking into a recruiting center, only 6% of people expressed any desire to join the Navy. Now we're seeing 20% of the people walking into recruiting centers are saying they're interested in the Navy. We used to attract somewhere around 6 or 7% visible minorities and Indigenous Canadians. Now we're attracting 20%. So we know we're tapping into new groups. And I think we're going to continue to see that. So we just need to get the word out that this is a great opportunity for Canadians.
And are you convinced, you mentioned you have the levers, am I to infer from that that you feel like the Navy on its own, or the Armed Forces on its own, the military on its own, separate from government investment, government initiative, can accomplish what you're setting out?
So no one would ever say no to more money, but the thing is that we have a lot of things that we can control ourselves, and until we've exhausted everything we can do, we need to do all of those things.
More money is one thing, less money is what the Armed Forces is confronted with now. What is your thought? What are your thoughts on that?
So it depends on how you look at it. So the capital budget is actually growing. We're in the midst of the largest recapitalization in the Canadian Navy's history in peacetime. And so the overall defense budget is actually going up. It's the various different aspects of it are being reduced.
So you don't feel any pinch?
So again, I can always use more money, but the thing is that my job is to take the resources I'm given and meet the requirements of Canada with those resources.
Okay, Vice Admiral, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for your time today.
All right, thank you.